this system, we have the sphere of the Janssens that are stacked that are always moving first, and the outer spheres are trying to copy what's happening here. So in the first example, when we're talking about the deadlift effect, I'm actually spinning the ball in my stomach up. As this ball spins up, the ball in my hand spins up. The ball in my hand spins up. Now this spiral creates another spiral within the gua, inside here. And your sacroiliac joint can actually flex and open. Okay? And this can be tested by having the feet out, having the feet in. If you turn your feet in like this, you're going to feel space in your back, lower back. And you'll actually feel there's an opening there. What's happening when we start spiraling like this, you want to get the ball to start to flex. So the Dante is not just rolling anymore, it's rolling and flexing. Okay? It's a little hard to grasp, so I tell beginners for now, just remember what happens here leads what happens here. The power is found in the feet, is directed by what's inside of the waist, and expressed in the hands. But this is all one unit, it's not sequential. It's not, oh, my feet power up, I move my stomach, and then I move my hands. While that works in many systems, that's not what we do here. What we do here is instantaneous, all happening at the same time. So power of the feet, power of the downstand, power of the hands. When this moves and changes, this moves and changes. There's not a 1, 2. It's 1, 1, 1, 1. And that's where the power comes from. And that, in effect, allows you to cut down a lot of wasted effort and time. And it makes you a lot faster. So for instance, if I have my hand inside a guard somebody, I don't need, any internal styles can tell you, you don't need to rechamber the hand, you just punch him. And that seems very awkward to somebody who's learned traditional boxing or karate, where you need to chamber the hand and throw the hand. And yes, in this style you can do that also, but the idea is to learn to not need that and then go back to it. Now you have this energy thrown, and that's the similarity of the two. So, going back to the stack, open hands, double ward off, drop the hands. Now I'm going to start spinning the circle. I'm going to pressurize this and open it. Okay? I'm really trying to make this big so you can see what I'm actually doing. This is all happening in my body, you're not going to see it. Okay? I'm going to pressurize this, spiral it, and throw it into my hand. What's actually happening is I just, in my body, create this tension. Okay? So you're not going to be able to see that. Pick the hand up and wipe. Now from here, I'm going to put the pressure down, push the ball away, and same thing. Whip the power up, but whip it so that this motion immediately triggers a motion here, not after the effect. So this already starts to move the hand. This already starts to move the hand. When you see on the outside again, you're not going to see these extra moves. It's just a teaching tool. It just looks like this. Okay? From here, going to pressurize. The ball starts to spin from the foot. Okay? Now we have our three first power generators. First is the foot touching down. This touchdown is already power. The next is the knee shifting. This knee shift is already power. This weighted turn, where the heel's on the ground, okay, we'll do it for demonstration with the toes up. We want the toe to be up the width of a dollar bill. Keep this open, keep the crease of your butt, where the butt cheek meets the leg, flat, and drill from the inside. Okay? Drill from the inside. As this leg turns, the hands spiral, because the spinning here creates the spinning tension here. Now from here, we're going to do what's called the shift to the shove. So we're going to take the back leg, we're going to shove it in. We're just going to stab the guy with the weight. Now from here, we're going to apply on. Deflate the tongue, about 70%, hit the tailbone, and sit down and stack the spine. And that stacks energy. One, two, okay, 3, 4, 5. doesn't look like much. If you're doing the form, you should be slightly pitched forward towards the front leg. Slightly. Okay? We're going to catch the guy. If you're shooting, you have a circle, a C shape. If you're boxing, you have the C, the turtle shell, the C shape. And when you're in that slight plucked back, head suspended, you should be slightly facing forward for the first 4 steps. When I say steps, I mean transitions in one stance. There's 5 of them. 6 if you count the initial move. Touchdown. Shift. Turn. Okay? Shunt. And then on, drop. So there's 5 stages of power generation and 5 hits that happen in a short space. You do not need to retract the hand in this style, especially when you're going to soft targets. If you're an old person who's like 80 and you're getting robbed by a 20-year-old, you're not going to sit there trying to do MMA and get into a boxing match with them. You're going to rip their fucking eye out of their head. All right? That's just reality because you're trying to go home to your kids. You want to see your grandkid's birthday, you're not going to sit there playing games with some kid that's doing MMA. You rip the fucking face off. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This sequence will repeat over and over and over again in the form. So now we did 1, 2, wipe, clear, tap, shift, shift, turn. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Low guard, middle guard, mid guard. Step. 1, 2, 2. Spiral starts with this foot. 3. Okay? Try to do different methods. You can see how it's similar for every style. This powers a spiral in the sand. The spiral continues. This starts to shift and shunt. That creates the stab. We do roll off and pung, and then sit down to on. That's the catch. Low guard. Step, elbow, shoulder. Then your first spiral is your torque. Shift, turn, weighted turn. See how my knee is not here? I'm keeping it open. That's to keep all 3 channels forward and backwards aligned so using the entire body at once. Keep this one in the middle guard. Traditional styles, you'll see in the middle low guard. We're just going to follow the Willing Chen's basic form, or this form. We'll explain why another time. Shift. We did the turn. We do the shunt. We throw it away. And now we do on. And settle. This settling is where our rear rollback comes from. I'm still going forward. My intent is forward. Okay? As I sat down, I create a crumpling effect on my body. That crumpling effect creates the wave back. But I'm still 30% forward. Remember, there's always 70-30 or 72-28 rule. You're never 100% in one direction. So right now, 30% is going that way, 70% is going this way. To the shoulder, elbow strike. Notice how the first settling down continues in. So settle, he's already down. He's already in my body, he's already down, he's already doing something, his energy's moved. I'm stepping away. This energy with this energy creates this energy. If I just did this, I'd have this, which is fine. If I just did this, I'd have this. But when you put them together, you have this. Okay? The entire move. And notice how we do the same power sequence going back to going forward. The only difference is in our forward walking step, it's toe ball heel. In a reverse step, it's heel ball toe, toe ball heel. So going forward, heel, ball toe, This one's toe, ball, heel. When you're throwing kicks at the long range, it's suggested that you take your heels off the ground. Until the opponent's in the middle range. Middle to short range, you always stay grounded and rooted so that the person will always run into a tree. He's running into the ground. When we're at kicking range, you take your heels off the ground, you can move. A lot of people don't ever get up to the sword form, but the sword form has the extra steps that you're missing from the regular form. The sword form has the Bagua steps, the Jingyi steps, anything that's missing from the other systems in Taiji, you'll find in the other forms. Taiji's not meant to be learned one form only. It has every single weapon. I don't know all the weapons. I just know what I needed to know. And that's where most people stop. It's not that I don't want to learn anymore, I'm still learning. Just there's such a large vocabulary and library of techniques that it's almost impossible, especially now it's all hidden, for any person to actually get it all. So my goal in the last 20 years was to decode the handset and the practical hand techniques. It's not that I don't have a love for the art, it's just I wanted to be true to the study and true to passing on to what I was able to gather as the universal aligning code within the arts. What's the similarity between all the arts, not what the differences are. So when you hear me argue with people about it, I'm arguing for constructive and synergy, and they're arguing for destruction and the lack of unity. And it's a very important thing to understand. Aggression's not bad, it's just misplaced. You have to know when to fight and when not to. So, back to the beginning, we'll try to do a little bit more of the form now, muscle the energy. Settle in, turn everything off, stack the spine, breathe in, make your Pung ball. Now we start the spiral on the Santen, lift to the hands, gather energy up, stab in the throat, the eyes, roll down to the collarbone, grab the collarbone, and settle. Double ward off, double roll back, double press, open the one corner, open the other corner, wipe off, step in, set up the left wall. Okay? And you notice, as I do this step, tough for me is to explain it and do it at the same time. I do my best. You do the catch, and now I finish with this opponent. I know this guy's coming. I leave my shoulder, elbow towards him, and turn my knee and my hands and elbows guard. So I want to catch first. My back is already covered because it's the back. You know, it's not the best thing in the world. I can take a lot to the back. That can take so much to the linear album. So, crunch, guard, catch, step, shift, shift, start the spiral. The spiral starts the technique, the back leg shunt finishes the technique, and then we settle it on. Gather again, change opponents. Knee covers, elbow covers, catch. Same thing, shift, 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 start the spiral, finish with the shunt, settle it on. Once this continues, I step back, I start the spiral, and now since this belt is doing that move, the hands have to follow with this belt. You can even imagine a ball in the hands. From here, we go to G. In this system, G is a backhand going up, and this is a closing hand coming down. The opposite forces, one circle going in and out, one circle going up and out, create a spiraling intersecting linear force forward, as opposed to the modern style, which is a ward off here, and what should be a ward off this way. The colliding energy creates force forward. Same as the two hands go this way. So, one, elbow, shoulder, double ward off, double roll back, settle. I'm already passed on. I drop on top of that. And the reason why people mistranslate this is push. Well, it's really like to drop down and seal or smother. I don't really know the real translation, but it's not to push something, right? What actually happens is I'm coming down straight. I move my force, my center of mass this way, and I move my hands down. The combination of me moving forward and my hands coming down creates a diagonal linear force. that diagonal linear force with the handset will smother them, compress the hands into them, or just compress the bones into their foot. When the foot's compressed, they want to resist. But since they're in compression and I've changed the center of mass, they get wedged. So as a difference between what hopefully T-Fog is not what's happening here. Because that, to me, implies my intention to change his center. The opponent center gets manipulated immediately from contact by Pung Jin. So because he's Pung, and I place Pung rolling down upon him, he feels a rolling force in his center that's crumpling his bone down and all the fluid in his body. He only has two options: to try to fight it, and if he doesn't make the correction of the center of mass, he'll be wedged out, or to try to push off of it and push off the ground, which will also push him out. As he's going on his own, when he makes the move away, I now follow with a pump, And what I just do is do double ward off. He's this way, he wants to go this way, I just automatically add Pung because he's already going that way. That's different than me tricking the guy into losing his center, because we don't have time for that trickery. You're talking about ODA loop, right? You should look up ODDA. ODA loop is basically orient, determine, decide, and act, roughly. In Taiji, we want to take the ODA loop and cut it into two pieces. So if I'm just aware and my patterns are programmed to take awareness and automatically allow that awareness to push me into the next move, I no longer have to determine or decide what to do. The determination and the decision is already made for me. I'm aware, and my awareness and my action become one unit because you forced me to do the thing. I didn't choose to do it. And that's where real speed comes from. So I don't have to think in 4 steps because you're thinking for me. Once I make contact with the opponent and he has Pung on him and he's sealed, he tries to move. And his motion creates the next effect. It's not that I'm thinking, I want to do this thing to him. Once you think that, you're now behind reality because now you're going to think, I want this thing to happen, go to your past memory bank to figure out a way to make it happen, to look in the future, and as you're playing ping pong with observation, you're never in the moment and you're always behind reality. And this is a lot of the reason why you see these double heavy or double light matches where someone is banging heads, because none of them is an awareness, they're all an intention. When you're in intention, you're not aware, and that means you're going to be behind the loop. That's all. So on again, I drop down, he compresses, now he either pushes off the compression and bounces off, right? Or he wedges underneath the compression and bounces off. That's why it's considered, but it's not a push. He's literally, the wall turned into a circle, the circle smashed him into a ball, and he wants to get away from it. So he tries to get away from it, but because he has no leverage, he's gonna push himself off. It's a big difference than me doing a balance trick. And this is very important to understand the 4 energies from the very beginning, how to apply that. So now, I seal. He's stuck in the ground, he tries to move again, I see wherever he's moving, the empty space, and they give it Pung Jin, right? So Pung Ji, Pung, at the same time, he gets lifted and bounced off of me. All you gotta do is add Fa to any of the energies, which is basically expanding through that energy, and he goes flying 1,000,000 miles away. That's not the same as a balance trick on contact, because that only works on the freaking fake make-believe people. The people who will sit there and like, you look at them, they say all these fancy things, but they'll never touch hands with a wrestler, someone bigger than them, someone stronger than them. And you can see in my videos, everybody I play with, you know, there's very few people that I play with that aren't young, or at least have weight behind them. You know, I play with powerlifters and all kinds of people like that. I make sure that I know that if I'm going to do something, I'm teaching something that works. You know, and I suggest you do the same. You can do it without getting hurt and not being mean to people. You can take somebody that's 200 pounds and do something. You don't have to be, you know, you have to be violent in order to practice. Make sense? What's up, guys? It's Master D from NYC, and we're here starting with our Moving for the People series on YouTube. Check us out every day for a new video. We'll be giving you free lessons, and hopefully guys who have money will pay for it, and the ones who don't will pass it on to the kids. So check us out for more. Subscribe, hit the bell on the bottom, hit the like, buy some t-shirts, buy some other cool stuff, and you know, donate to the cause.